The Hansa Fish River Canoe Marathon is proudly brought to you by Hansa Pilsner. 364 days of the year, Grass Ridge Dam here, right in the middle of the Klein Karoo, is quiet. Nothing really goes on. But for one day of the year, it is a hive of activity. It's the start of the Hansa Fish River Canoe Marathon. And in 2016, which is a K1 championship year, this is hosting one of the most hotly contested canoeing events on the global calendar. The field littered with medalists from the recent World Marathon champs in Germany.
Yeah, I really enjoy fish. I think this is my 13th one, so I've done quite a few and enjoy the race every year. It doesn't seem like a race because everyone's always in such good high spirits and just worried about having a bra and chilling out. That'll be cool.
The K1 champ back to defend his title.
Everyone gets super excited for the fish, and you always got Keith, like sort of this background music playing of Keith in the background. So I think once you pass Keith, everyone starts smiling and there's a lot of relief. So I think the race is to whoever can get through Keith first and get through safely. So yeah, but otherwise not really nervous anymore. I think I've raced too much.
Every year the fish attract some of the world's best to Craddock. This year the Cellar champ Kiko Vega was making his fish debut.
Primer fish y sobre todo con la expectativa de ver cómo me comporto en river. Es un river very strong, muy fuerte, diferente. Tengo que adaptarme sobre la marcha.
The seeded men's A batch lines up for the Le Mans start, revealing a star-studded field, setting up a race of note for the gold medals. The 46-kilometre first stage divides into three. No mistakes to Keith's flyover at the 10-kilometre mark, then race to Soutpans at 26 kilometres, and then test the endurance to the finish below Knutsford. Absolutely perfect racing conditions as A-Batch gets underway, everyone itching to stay with Hank McGregor. The race doubling as the SA K1 champs for 2016. Jasper Mocker making a flyer of the start. So important to get onto the front wave in the chaos of the Le Mans start. Here's a surprise, 19-year-old Tom Lovemore leading the front bunch in pretty stellar company as they head out to the dam wall portage takeout. On board now with Hank McGregor at the start of the portage, he's side by side with Craddock-raised local Greg Lowe, the K2 winner last year with Andy Burkett. Greg squeezing ahead of Hank. Back at the river, Jasper Mocker battling to get away. He's chasing three boats ahead of him after the portage. Greg Lowe, Hank McGregor and Andy Burkett. With hardly any time to settle into your boat, the unusual double trouble weir comes into view. It's one of a kind, a fish chute, then a 45-degree left turn, and then a sharp drop into a big stopper. Andy Burkett leads the front bunch into double trouble with Greg Lowe a boat length behind. On board with Hank McGregor now as the front trio tackles and disposes of the double trouble threat. Jasper Mocker in catch-up mode now. He lines up the big hole at the bottom of double trouble and he's out! That's a disaster for the K2 world champ as the rest of A-Batch comes tearing past him. Now watch this for the move of the day. Ben Garrett does a nose stand, catches it, twists and lands it. Now that's awesome. Others not quite as lucky. McGregor opts for the Chauncey centerline at the low toast rack bridge. He comes in hot and makes it look easy. Then it's into the Willow corridor that leads to the rapid Keith's flyover. World number 1 and 2 jockeying for pole position. Keith's is nasty and can end your race in a flash. Andy Burkett leading the front trio in.
You always get quite nervous as you get into Keith's and you think, wow, maybe we should be portaging this, but as soon as you soon as you make it at the bottom and you see you haven't made a swim, you paddle on adrenaline for the next 10 kilometers, so it's always fun.
And the most schooled line award goes to Greg Lowe. But as the rest of A Batch arrives, the carnage starts. Back at a chilly Grass Ridge Dam, the top women are getting ready to leave in their seeded C batch. A small batch, but arguably the most competitive women's K1 field ever.
You know, in the back of your mind, you know that all the other girls are top form and it's going to be a hard race, and yeah, lots of girls are out here, but I'm excited. I mean, this is what racing's all about, to have a strong field, and let's see what happens.
Solms gets off to a great start, running her K1 far into the shallow water to go straight into the lead. 4 wins and the last K1 fish title already under her belt, she's clearly the woman to beat here. But she's up against some class in Robin Owen, Bridget Hartley, Nikki Russell and Jenna Ward. Double Trouble lures the seeded women's batch inexorably closer. Solms leading by a country mile already. Since her days as a talented schoolgirl, she has worked hard at her river skills, and it's pretty clear that it is paying handsome dividends now as she aces Double Trouble. Bridget Hartley, the first of the chasers, and she gets dumped, washed and rinsed in Double Trouble. Jenna Ward is up next. She hits the big wave clean and comes out upright. Just behind her, Robin Owen, on her return to river racing, takes a big hit and she nearly loses it. That's a good catch. What is immediately apparent, though, is that the top women are suddenly all willing to take the big risks to stay competitive in this loaded women's race. But up front, Abby Solms has made this race her own as the gap starts to snowball. 27 kilometers in, Soutpunt's Drift Rapid, and an awesome second and spectator spot as the Fish River bucks and heaves its way under the bridge and through 200 meters of great rough water. A small crowd here to watch the front bunch, led by Greg Lowe, then McGregor, and Andy Burkett opting for a slightly more right-hand line. All three together as they muscle up to Soutpunt's. All three safely through the sticky hole at the bottom as well. Jasper Mocker leads the chasing bunch, with Andrew Houston moving strongly through the pack. Up front, Greg Lowe has been dropped a few Ks from the first stage finish, and McGregor leads Burkett for the line honours.
It's one of the best races in the country, and you know, if I wouldn't know what to be doing if everyone else was doing the fish and I was back home. So I must admit, I'm really happy to be here, leading the fish. Super great conditions, great vibe. And sportsmanship out there today was awesome, so very happy to come away with the first stage win.
Yeah, it was awesome paddling with Hank and Andy. It was a good clean race. They were just a bit stronger, so from Katkop they got away and left me behind to suffer the last bit of my own.
A baptism of fire for Kiko Vega in 18th.
What feeds? Lot of fun.
The exhilaration at finishing stage 1 masks the fatigue. That's the unique appeal of the Canoe and the Hansa fish vibe. So 3 left to contest the title. Michael House Schoolboy, Jean van der Westhuizen excelling in 6th, Spornello Quella in the top 10 for the first time. Day 1 done and dusted for the elite men, so let's head back upriver to catch up with the women's race. Keith's flyover, so habitually portaged by the women, sees Abby Solms take it on and coolly masters this monster. Bridge Hartley was going to shoot Keith's and then opted out at the last moment. Nikki Russell, another top woman to make Keith's, and she shoots past Jenna Ward, just before Robin Owen shoots and makes Keith's as well. The girls raising the bar significantly in 2016. Salm still pulling away at the Brackrefeer Weir Portage put-in, but behind her the women's race is turning into a thriller to follow. At Soutpansdrift now, let's follow Abby Salms as she tackles this long rough rapid. Superb lines, great composure, looking every bit the champion. Bridget Hartley has charged back through the field to second now, with pressure coming from Jenna Ward. The Durbanite having a great fish. Onboard camera giving us a glimpse of the fence crossing on the Brackrefeer Weir Portage. Nicely done by the Max Squad World Champs K2 silver medalist. Jenna Ward into Soutpansdrift, closely followed by Robin Owen, who has always been a serial grinner on river races, but she's clearly loving her return to river paddling. Robin Owen gets spun out to the right in the last big wave at Soutpans, so that leaves the door open for another shuffle of the women's leaderboard. Up front, it has been another flawless paddle from Abby Salms as she takes the women's line honours and breaks the 9-year-old women's stage record by 30 seconds.
I think Bridget had a swim at double trouble and we managed to make a bit of time up there. Abby was gone from the get-in, so she was gone, and then it was just a matter of getting down safely. I think most of the girls shot Keith's, our portage, just to be safe, and it was just a matter of catching up, staying in the boats and having fun while we were on the river.
So a 9-minute lead overnight for Salms, that's massive, but the next 4 boats bunched within 7 minutes of each other.
I can't be without food and sleep. Those two things, I'm very grumpy, so I always make sure I have enough food and enough sleep.
I don't think I can go without a good shower.
Perhaps I should say my husband, because he keeps me in line and gives balance to my life.
If I'm really scared about anything, then I'll cry.
I think when I don't achieve something that I really want to, that definitely would make me cry. But I think that's just the competitive nature.
When things go wrong in a race and you don't get the result you're hoping for if you've put all the hard work and effort into it.
Easy answer, Staffy. They're my favourite dogs. I just love them. I just love their fun attitude, and there's a bit of a tough side there, which is quite cool.
Yeah, I'd have to be a pit bull. I enjoy a good tussle.
I would like to be with my mother. She's always prepared for no matter what circumstances you're in, so it would definitely be great to have her with me.
I suppose if I'm stranded with an island, I'd like to be with my boyfriend at least.
I'd probably say my husband. He's pretty good at getting us out of sticky situations.
It's early morning below Knutsford as we get ready for the start of day 2 of the Hansa Fish, and this race starts in a reversed order format. So the back markers and the slower paddlers all get off early, and then the reversed order starts at 10:30 for the elite paddlers. It's going to be a blinder of a race as far as the men is concerned. Race hard in the first third, manage the weirs in the middle, and then whoever gets to Craddock Weir first guns it for the line. As for the ladies' race, it could be a day. Who's going to take the bigger risks? That could pay handsome dividends and get somebody onto the podium. Day 2 is 10k shorter at 36 kilometers and now includes 4 distinctive weirs. The brand new Baroda chute at the start and the last 3 in the final 12 kilometers before the charge to the finish in Craddock. 10:30 and it's hot off the water and hot on it as Hank McGregor and Andy Burkett resume their battle for the 2016 title. A fast start by these two. They'll have to keep an eye on Greg Lowe, who's a minute and a half behind them. The new Baroda chute, the big talking point this year, and McGregor happy to tap off and let Burkett show him the way down this new obstacle. The new world number 1 and number 2 after the world champs in Brandenburg, adding real luster to the 2016 fish. Behind them, Greg Lowe, who was one of the first to guinea pig this new weir when it was first built, starts his chase to try and get back onto that front bunch. The race for the rest of the gold medals, Mocker and Houston, and then Kiko Vega fronting this chasing group. He was frustrated at not finding paddlers to work with on day 1. Looks better set today with Don Werigi and Tulani Mbanjwa for company. "24 kilometers in at Gauging Weir, and McGregor and Burkett are still side by side. Once again, Hank happy to let Andy lead the way as they slide down the easiest of the day's 4 weirs. Greg Lowe still third and not making a dent into that gap either. Jasper Mocker in 4th goes down the left line, while Andrew Housty with him opts for the more central line. The last portage at the Marlow Causeway 2 kilometers further downriver, and there is still nothing to separate the 2 leaders. Both blitz portages with the boat. This one could be going down to the wire. McGregor thinks he might have a little gap on Burkett here as he's refitting his splashing. The long, lonely day for Greg Lowe continues as he's caught between the front 2 and the chasing bunch behind him as he sets off for the final 50 minutes to the finish. Back to the women's race, and starting in elapsed time, Abby Solms is racing with Mameli Kele and Murray Hoare on the bubble of 25th overall as they approach the new Baroda chute. Mameli doing the chivalrous thing and showing Abby the way. Solms just rock solid in the boat and loving the challenge of this new obstacle at the start of day 2. In second, Bridget Hartley. We all know how quick the Olympian is in the sprint boat. Into Baroda, and it's another swim for her as she gets flipped out on the ledge. So frustrating for her as Jenna Ward now comes past her. Up front, Abby Solms is all energy as she leads her bunch into Gauging Weir. Hartley charging now to try and make up for her early swim. The London Olympic medalist so quick on the flat water. Into Gauging Weir she comes and nearly loses it again. It's a good catch this time and she can continue her fight back. Jenna Ward looking so strong now, shadowing Hartley closely. Back to the front of the men's race to weir number 3 on the final stage, Marlow chute. Once again, Burkett gets to shoot it first with McGregor right on his rudder. Both get through this obstacle unscathed. Now there's just 7 Ks to go. Greg Lowe comes into Marlow chute and no issues for him. He's been shooting this since he was racing in a guppy. Jasper Mocker chasing hard, hunting the last step on the podium. He comes into Marlow chute and he gets caught by the water coming in from the right. He tries to catch it, but to no avail. So another frustrating swim for Jasper as Andrew Houston comes through to grab that 4th place. The last serious hurdle, Craddock Weir, and there's always a huge crowd to watch the action. Everyone has been following the race updates on Twitter and wants to see the world number 1 and 2 and their tactics at Craddock Weir. This time McGregor puts the hammer down to get to the weir first. He slides over right at the apex and lands it beautifully. Just behind him, Andy Burkett does likewise, aces Craddock, and both are teed up for a thrilling sprint to the finish just 4 kilometers away. It's game on and 2014 deja vu. Greg Lowe takes the steep left side at Craddock and makes it look so easy. That's class. Jasper Mocker back in the saddle. He's 6th now after his Guffert Marlow, and he enjoys acing Craddock. Kiko Vega into Craddock. The man from Asturias nails it, but the real dog show is just about to begin. Through the golf course rapids and then the few turns and twists of the Fish River as it winds into Craddock. Hank McGregor has one hand on the trophy now, and he has that world-famous in-sprint in his arsenal. He fires the afterburners, and there is nothing Burkett can do about it. And that sees McGregor win the 2016 Hansa Fish and another SAK1 title. It's been a cliffhanger of a race, one in which sportsmanship was the biggest winner.
Couldn't have wished for a better race. I had a good, clean day out there, and yeah, like you say, coming second to Andy and Hank, number 1 and 2 in the world is nothing to be upset about.
Greg Lowe chuffed with his 3rd.
Yeah, look, to defend my SA title from 2 years ago on the Fish, really happy. And I had a fantastic race today against Andy Burkett, top class athlete, a great sportsman, and he's actually a teammate of mine. So yeah, we left it all on the water. We tested each other. Craddock must have been really exciting to watch, and this year I got there first, and very happy to cross the line first. So you know, it's just a cherry on the top after coming back from a big season of World Champs, and to come back to one of the biggest races, if not the biggest race in the country, and pull it off. Really happy.
I really enjoy close racing. It always makes it more exciting and a lot more enjoyable. And to race alongside someone like Hank, who's the best in the world at the moment, makes it even more special. There was great sportsmanship out there today, and fair racing. He was the better man on the day, so I enjoyed it.
These are the day 2 times. Siseko Ntondini, the 4th fastest on the day, finishing just behind Sponello Quella. Jean van Westhuizen solidly top 10 as well. Meanwhile, a little further back upriver, the first of the elite women is approaching Craddock Weir. Abby Solms has ground out a cavernous lead in what has been a really enthralling women's race, so she reluctantly uses her right to run the safe portage around Craddock Weir. She hasn't been challenged but has still raced flat out, to the point that the overall women's race record is in her sights now. Bridget Hartley also portages Craddock. She's looking to consolidate her 2nd. She gets going, but just before she gets her splash cover on, there's another swim for Bridge. And now she's under pressure from Jenna Ward and Robin Owen just behind her. Owen opts to shoot Craddock Weir and gets it badly wrong. This forces Jenna Ward behind her to make a serious plan B to avoid landing on top of her. Delivered under pressure. This is where the women's race has been so thrilling, because the race for the top is so tight that every second counts. Owen empties as Nikki Russell comes in hot and straight. It's far from textbook, but she lands it, only to get stuck underneath the lifesavers stand. But up front, it is Abby Solms charging home to a hero's welcome and a new race record as well.
No, hey, sure, very chuffed. I didn't expect to come out with such a big lead and couldn't ask for a better 2 days. So it was absolutely brilliant, flawless racing, and yeah, made the decision at the end here to portage Craddock. Wasn't too happy about it, but you know, you're so close to the end, rather play it safe and secure the win.
I think I made it hard for myself, but the last time I did a K1 Fish was in 2005, so I'm really happy that I could come away with the 2nd place with all the mistakes that I made, because I've been in the back of a K2 for most of the other fishes that I've competed in.
It's been a riveting women's race as the girls took their racing to a whole new level in 2016. Great race by junior Christy McKenzie in 6th overall. So here are the overall men's and women's leaderboards, with Hank McGregor and Abby Solms defending their K1 titles and scooping the SA K1 River titles to boot. The Hansa Fish Fest once again delivering at every level to its massive following.
Well, the fish is 35 years old, and from day one it's always lived up to the expectation. And we had a very nice race today, and I think everybody that came down the river, everybody's so forthcoming to each other. Another thing I also really liked to see was all the young bucks, girls and boys doing the short course, and that is very inspiring. So canoeing in general is still a very popular sport.
Time to crown the champions across all the categories and then hunker down for the legendary after party. In 1982, this race was started by a hardy bunch of pioneers, and 35 years later, it has morphed into one of the most exciting and most competitive river races you'll find anywhere on the planet. And the 2016 edition certainly lived up to that billing. World number one, world number two, going at it like two street fighters and producing an absolutely thrilling climax that the crowd here in Craddock is going to be talking about for many, many a year. And that brings down the curtain on an absolutely blisteringly good 2016 Hansa Fish River Canoe Marathon. Catch more from the Hansa Fish when we focus the spotlight on the guys and girls further down the field, who are the people of the fish. The Hansa Fish River Canoe Marathon was proudly brought to you by Hansa Pilsner.